into the sacred grounds near the Nethravathi River. 3 sites have been excavated so far, but no human remains have been found yet. So this is a case that has caught public eye. So, is it a case of buried truth or baseless claim? This is the question. The investigation is far from over, and tonight we trace the timeline, the twist and the unanswered questions in the high-stake case. Now, let me straight away introduce my reporter, Gautam, who has been keeping a tag, because this investigation into the shocking claim that hundreds of bodies were secretly buried in Dharmasthala continue to unfold, with the SIT, which is Special Investigation Team, now conducting excavation at the third suspected site. At the second site, the SIT dug a pit measuring 6 feet in both length and breadth. However, no skeletal remains were found there either. Excavation efforts then shifted to a third location, an area of the forest near the bathing ghat of the Nethravathi River. Here the digging commenced at a new point with the help of 20 labourers. At the third site too, a 6-foot long and a 5-foot wide trench was dug with plans to reach a depth of 6 feet. The operation at this location lasted about 2 hours. However, the third round of excavation also ended without results. Despite digging to the planned depth, no human remains were found. Following the conclusion of the third site's excavation, the SIT team, along with the complainant, have paused the operation again. The case, which initially emerged through a confession and a whistleblower's tip, has captured public attention and is being closely monitored as the SIT continues its probe. Let me play out the bite of G. Parmeshwar and then I go to Gautam.
ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಧರ್ಮಸ್ಥಳದ SIT ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಅದು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೆ ವರದಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆನಂತರ ಮಾತಾಡಬಹುದೇ ವಿನಃ ಈ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಬಾರದು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವೇ ಯಾರು ಮಾತಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
Gautam, can you just take us through this story on Dharmasthala?
Yes, Karnataka, a very high stakes game that's playing out in Dharmasthala, where a whistleblower who was actually a former sanitation worker employed by Dharmasthala itself in the period between 1995 to 2014 for nearly 2 decades. This person who's the whistleblower in this case was employed there, and he claims that there were multiple bodies that were buried, and a lot of these bodies had indications of sexual assault, and also them being indications of them being murdered as well. So that is where the whole story stems from. And right now, let me just take you through a couple of developments that have just taken place as well, because a total of 5 excavation points have been looked into right now. So 5 sites out of the 13 that have been pointed out by this whistleblower have been searched, but so far no skeletal remains, no human remains of any sort have been found. But what we understand though, Kartikeya, is that the SIT has now found a couple of ID cards, a PAN card and a debit card that have been recovered from the spots that have been pointed out by the whistleblower here. Now, the PAN card actually, we've also found the name on it. It has the name of a woman called Lakshmi, and what the SIT has also recovered is a bag and a red blouse close to the site, but no human remains. So these items have now been sent to the forensic lab, and they will be investigated as well. Now, coming back to the case itself, this whole story actually began after a couple of advocates actually came to this whistleblower and then convinced him that you can actually go ahead and speak. So he was in hiding for over a decade. He had gone missing in 2014 itself. So now he is suddenly surfaced. So that actually has cast aspersions about what his claims are in this case as well. Now, after he filed a written complaint on July 3rd, an FIR was also registered in this particular case. Now, what this whistleblower is actually claiming, Kartikeya, is that there are skeletal remains that are actually dug and buried 3 to 4 feet in several points near the Nethravathi River, in the forest area that is just next to the Nethravathi River there, which is actually a holy bathing site around Dharmasthala as well. But so far, the excavation process has taken place at 5 locations. So far, they haven't been able to dig up anything. Even though he said they found remains at depth of say 3 to 4 feet.
Gautam, is there a timeline, and why has it become a political hot potato?
Yes. Let's just keep in mind that the political sensitivity and also the fact that the Dharmasthala, the Sri Dharmasthala Kshetra, the Lord Manjunath temple is visited by politicians and millions across India. After Tirupati, Dharmasthala is considered as the next temple which has the highest footfall. So that is the reason for this sensitivity around the developments in this case as well. Now on June 22 is when a couple of advocates met this former sanitation worker of Dharmasthala, and they then approached Dakshin Kannada SP and urged an investigation. The whistleblower then filed a formal complaint on July 3rd, alleging he was coerced into burying the bodies when he was employed there between 1995 to 2014. So for a period of nearly 2 decades. And then an FIR was actually lodged in this case. Now the whistleblower in this case has been granted protection under the witness protection program, which is the reason why we see on our screens that he's completely covered. His face has a mask. He's wearing a hoodie, so he had also claimed that he is facing threat for his life as well, which is the reason there is a lot of secrecy, because it's a high stakes and
is there a timeline to this SIT investigation? By which this has to be completed, and because a lot of parties are involved, a lot of sentiments, social issues are involved. Is there a timeline so that the case can be settled for good?
Absolutely. So, given the fact that this whistleblower has pointed out to 13 sites, Karthika, he has said that there are 13 locations where there are human remains that could be found. And so far, already in a couple of days, that was yesterday and today, the SIT team, along with the Tehsildars and the district administration team, have scoured through 5 locations. So there are just 8 locations remaining. And given the fact that there's adverse weather conditions in Dakshin Kannada region as well, so they are having, every time they dig up these pits, it's immediately getting filled with water as well. But so far, it seems like it will just take 3 to 4 more days, by which time the SIT probe should be completed, and we should have clear answers on whether there is something more to probe, whether there are some really dark secrets that are remaining hidden in the depths of Dharmasthala, Karthikeyan.
Okay, thank you so much, Gautam, for explaining this entire issue and putting it in perspective as to how this probe is being conducted by the SIT. So this was our ground report from Karnataka on the Dharmasthala issue. But we again have another on point, because this was on point 2. After the break, we'll come to the third on point, and we'll analyze the great sunset showdown over Operation Sindhu after a short break.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर एंकर टूथपेस्ट, नए जमाने की नई सुरक्षा।
ये वाला तो गुगली है,
वो वाला,
ये वाला तो सिक्सर है।
कौन सा फ्लेवर बिजनेस बढ़ाएगा? ये खूबसूरत चिंता आप करिए। बिजनेस लोन की चिंता हम संभाल लेंगे विद कोलैटरल फ्री लोन एंड टेन्योर अप टू 7 years।
ये रोशनी का सफर